This week on The Valley.
Intense.
Yeah, why is it intense?
Why is it intense? Is that a real question?
Always tears when it's intense.
Janet, that's
You.
what? What's your name?
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about The Valley, Season 2, Episode 11. Let's get right into it. Okay, so we open up with Luke and Kristen in their house. They seem to be very stable, very happy. Luke seems super comfortable. They talk about where they could live in the future, but most importantly, starting a family, which, as we know now, they have started a family, which I'm so happy for them. You know, I have to say, since season 1 last year, so many of the fans had, not the nicest things, or I should say, not the most positive things to say about Luke. A lot of people felt like their relationship, they were saying it wasn't all that genuine, or they thought Luke was weird, things like that. And I was one of the few people that actually felt like this relationship was genuine and that it would work out. So, looks like I have been right so far, and hopefully it stays like that. Okay, moving right along, Danny and Nia meet up with Benji and Zach. Zach is super tall and Benji is super short. There's like a mile, their height difference. It's like so much difference. So they are getting ready for this trip. Remember, this trip is actually going to be for Luke's engagement to Kristen, but it will be disguised as like a friend trip set up by Nia and Danny. Obviously, because it's meant to be a surprise. So Zach does happen to know. He's the only one that knows besides Nia and Danny, who are helping plan this. Nia does say that it wouldn't make too much sense for her to invite Karen, aka Janet. So Nia asks Zach if he could invite her, which is so interesting how the tables turn. Janet had a group trip last year where she invited everyone but Zach and Kristen. Now, no one really cares to invite her. So it's, crazy how now Zach is going to invite her for a trip that's all about Kristen. That's what you got to remember, to always have patience, because the tables will turn. But I'm really excited for this trip because it sounds like it's going to be lots of fun. So then we have Jesse, and he has his life coach over to his house, as well as all of the men of the group. They're having some sort of brother circle of trust session. Danny says that he thinks this is good so that they can talk before they go on the trip. Jack says that he will not be going to the trip. I would have been like, okay, good. So the coach then has an exercise for them. One of them needs to go up to another one of the guys, put their hand on their chest, and say, "You made me feel blank." And then, say how they made you feel. But nobody really wanted to go first. Jesse does end up going with Luke, which is nice, but they've already cleared their issue from last year, so it wasn't really anything new. Jax then goes. He goes with the life coach, and he starts to vent about his life. He cries, which is it bad that I don't really feel that bad for him? You know what I mean? I'm not happy about it, but I'm also not oh, poor Jax. I'm not. Danny then goes with Jason, and he apologizes for what he said to his wife. And maybe that's bad that I feel this way, but it angers me that Danny is apologizing. Why is he apologizing? He didn't do anything wrong. And then, to make matters worse, this pathetic man Jason's over here saying well, I don't know if I can let this go. What? You can let it go? Get the hell out of here. What are you talking about? You can't let it go. If anyone shouldn't be able to let it go, it should be Danny. Then I hated that one of these dorks, I think it was Jesse, brings up Danny's drinking. So here goes the coach trying to solve this issue, because they're all trying to overinflate it as if it's this big thing. So he's trying to talk Danny through it. I would have walked out. Danny, you're a little bit too respectful. I am not going to sit here and have a group of narcissists, liars, and weirdos trying to tell me what I need to do with my life as if I have the most messed up life out of everyone, which I don't. Okay, so the ladies, all the ladies meet up at a Mexican restaurant. All of it was Nia, Kristen, Brittany, Michelle, Jasmine, Melissa, Sheena, who has nothing else better to do, and Janet. So Nia says that she's really excited for this trip. Her trip, again, her trip in quotation marks because it's really for Kristen, but they don't know that. Michelle says that Aaron is going on the trip. So Nia's like, oh, that's good. But then Michelle says, it's come to my attention that people are talking about who my boyfriend has slept with in the past. And yes, he did sleep with Jenna back in 2020, Kristen. And Kristen's like, what? Like, why are you saying that to me? What the hell do I have to do with this? Michelle says, well, how did Jesse know that Jenna and Aaron have hooked up before? Kristen says, who cares? I really don't care about anyone else's relationship. Which, for the record, just to be exact, yes, Jenna did tell Jesse that she slept with Aaron a while ago, but Kristen didn't have anything to do with it. If anyone had, if you could say someone had something to do with it, I guess it could be Zach. But even then, first of all, who cares? But second, Jenna said it out her mouth. No one forced her. She wanted to take this information to Jesse, and she did it. So don't blame Kristen. But Janet, who just can't help herself, she says to Kristen, well, you accused Michelle of cheating last year. And Kristen says, why are you even getting involved? So Nia says, because she really loves the drama. She just loves it. Michelle then says, my ex-husband is trying to destroy me. Kristen says, okay, I get that, but I have nothing to do with anything that you're talking about. I won't ever have her anywhere near you. Like, I won't do that because I haven't. So Janet, again, though, she felt like she was on something. She was screaming like a weirdo, like a wacko, really. You're doing the dirty work, Kristen. Be accountable. For once, I saw Brittany, like, sort of check her, like, calm down. Kristen's like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. So she gets up and leaves. As she's doing that, Janet is screaming, okay, get out. Get your to-go box and get out of here. Poor Nia is now in tears, and Sheena asks her, are you okay? And Nia's like, no, this is too intense for me. Janet says, yeah, always with the tears when it's too intense for her. So Nia gets up and she says, F you, and she walks out of that restaurant. By the way, even though I don't like Sheena too much, I am glad that she did tell Janet she was wrong for the way she was talking to Nia. But my blood was boiling for Nia. But here's the thing. Lisa Rinna might not be the best person in Bravo's history, but one thing I'll always love about her is that when Kim Richards dared to say something bad about Harry Hamlin, Lisa got up, damn near choked him. She got her drink and broke it on the table and said, don't you ever go near my husband. Oh my gosh, that is what Nia needed to do. Get her, Nia. Oh, but yeah, it's too much. Okay, so now it's a new day. Jasmine and Melissa have set up a field day activity event. There's two teams, red and purple, and they have a whole bunch of like relay races, carry an egg with a spoon, all the stuff that we did in middle school. So everybody is there, including this Jenna chick, which, I get on Michelle a lot, but I will say this Jenna girl, it does look like she wants some attention. That is clear. But again, don't pin it on Kristen. It's on her. But yeah, so she's here. Sheena's there as well. And everybody in the cast is there. I will say that the people were definitely in it to win it. When they were doing these races, when they were playing tug of war, they put in their all to really win. Jax and Brittany are not really interacting, even though they're in the same place. And Brittany says that it almost feels like they're strangers, even though they're husband and wife. But that's totally I hate when that happens, when you like there's someone who you know so well, but like it's weird between y'all. But that's how it is with them right now. So they did have some fun at this event. It was just a nice little fun event. We then see Luke head to the ring shop. He's a little sad though. Obviously he's excited for this engagement, but his grandmother has cancer and she's not doing very well. So that's really sad and it's really affecting him. I really felt bad for him seeing him talk about that. So it's 2 days later. People are packing for the trip. We see Janet and Jason talking. Their baby is so adorable. She does say that she thinks she owes Nia an apology. I was like, yeah. I was like, you should be lucky you're even going. We see Kristen and Luke packing. Kristen has had it up to here with Janet. She's not even gonna acknowledge her on the trip, really. And I was like, okay, good, as you should. So then we see Jax at a restaurant. He's supposed to be waiting for Brittany. They were going to meet up here, but he gets a call from her. So he picks up the phone, and she's letting him know that she will not be going. Why? Well, because she got her DMs flooded this morning about the way he was acting the night before in his bar. Apparently, he was acting a fool, drunk, and a mess. She says, you're supposed to be working on yourself. You're 45. You're a terrible, vile human being. So that was that. So the group is now arrived to their destination in Maui. The place looks great. They check in. The suites were amazing. It was funny that Jesse is sharing the presidential suite with Zach and Benji. Aaron feels a little awkward with Jesse being around him and Michelle, but, they're keeping their distance. So then they all head to the pool. Danny and Jason have yet another conversation, which I was like, oh, Danny, just stop, let it go. Eventually, the four of them got close, Jason, Janet, Nia, and Danny. Janet says to Nia, I do want to apologize. I had too much to drink the other day, which if I would have been there, I would have been like, oh, you had too much to drink? What, do you have a drinking problem? But she says that she shouldn't have yelled at her, and she says, I definitely deserved that F you that you gave me. And then Nia says, yeah, I'm sorry that I said that. And I was like, Nia, are you serious? Why are you sorry? Danny then apologizes to Janet for the other night at Britt's when they transformed Jax's bar into Britt's. And I was like, oh my god, I can't. Never will I be this kind of someone who's so cruel. But you know what? That is very Christian of them, so I can definitely respect that, and it does show that they are good people. Everybody is then having fun. There's obviously a lot of tension, like I said, with Aaron, Michelle, and Jesse. So when everybody heads back, it's a little bit later, and they're getting ready to have dinner. They're getting ready for dinner. Jesse, as he's getting ready, all his negative thoughts are all coming to him. Like, did Michelle cheat? Was it with Aaron? Is Aaron bad? Like, all this stuff. So by the time they get to dinner, Jesse's mind is going crazy. And we see that 2 hours later, Jesse and Aaron are going to have a very heated conversation. And that was the end of the episode. So you guys, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was good. I am really excited to see Kristen's proposal. I think it's going to be really nice. As far as Janet, I understand Nia and Danny, they're nice, whatever, but I do think someone needs to hold her accountable. Really sit her down and hold her accountable for all this BS that she's trying to spew and this narrative. As far as Jax, again, I don't really feel bad for him. He's acting crazy on his after show. I mean, just no remorse whatsoever. So I can't feel bad for him when Brittany is refusing to go hang out with him. Why are you drinking? Why are you going out and getting drunk in public? You just got out of rehab and that's what you're doing? Are you serious? No. That is ridiculous. But you guys, let me know what your thoughts were about this episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on next time. You'll have a great one. Bye.